Alright, so I'm going to be introducing Sense and Sensibility. That was made in 1995 by Ang Lee. And just for some background information, this was a novel written by Jane Austen in 1811 that was adapted into a film. And the film is widely regarded as the first kind of big adaptation of Jane Austen's novel into the movie. And with this being her first book that she ever written, there was a lot of pressure, this being a very loved and cherished novel. The cast and crew just put a lot of effort into getting it right, and just emphasizing Jane Austen's literary voice and style, with her romantic kind of writing, and her characters, well-known characters, and just her witty sense of humor, and her light-hearted kind of tone and warmth to her books. So the cast and crew really wanted to get it right, and the film has earned a lot of praise for actually staying fairly close to the novel as best as they could. In the film, we see a great deal of character development, and just exploring themes of marriage, class, gender roles, and societal expectations of the Regency era. So now to talk a little bit about the director. So one of the most unique things about researching this film was their choice of director, and especially with the adaptation of Jane Austen's British novel, and the cast primarily being all British themselves. They chose a foreign, young, new director. So Ang Lee directed this film, and he is a Taiwanese director, and this was his first English film. And so there was some learning curves with the cast and crew, as he had explained to them that typically in Chinese culture, that whatever the director says kind of goes. And this was very different with obviously UK and United States actors and directors, where there's a lot of compromise and working together, and so he really learned a lot from this film and got a lot out of it, and especially with just such a stacked cast, and smart actors, and so they really challenged each other, but Lee's style of just satire and romance, kind of like films before he had done this one, and similar to Jane Austen's kind of feel of her novels, he was just the obvious choice, and his profoundly kind of moving style, and full-hearted and good humor kind of films before this just made him, again, the obvious director for this film. And the cast just at first were kind of surprised, but later just really grew into having him there and directing. And again, something interesting was he along with his vision for this film, and his excitement to just have the opportunity to film this, he made a comparison that Jane Austen's kind of world, British world, 19th century, was very similar to 21st century kind of Chinese culture, probably more than it is to British culture today, just with a lot of expectations and kids kind of growing up in this society of walking into a room and bowing and just knowing kind of the rules of society. So that was an interesting parallel that he could bring to the film. So while this film was a breakthrough in Hollywood for Ang Lee, it's also interesting that Emma Thompson is also the screenwriter of this film, and she both wrote the screenplay and also acted one of the lead roles in the film. And she was tasked with this very difficult assignment of adapting Jane Austen's first novel, which was a little bit wordy as she was getting into her style, and but still a very beloved novel all around. And so she really wanted to keep Jane Austen's voice at the forefront, and just her humor and humanization of the characters and the emotions, and she just did an incredible job. And Thompson wrote or explained in interview that her writing is infused with wit and subtle irony, which adds depth and humor to her narratives. And so she just really wanted to enrich this film by keeping as close to Jane Austen's novel as she. Alright, so the title itself really already kind of captures the essence of this film adapted novel, sense being kind of the balance of reasoning, and the sensibility being kind of the emotional side. And both of those kind of relate to the two sisters that we follow through the book, who kind of have contrasting views of how to live life. And so we just see this in Ang Lee's adaptation, as he does a really good job with character development in the growth of these kind of two sisters together. And we also have Thompson's adaptation of the novel that just really does a great job of capturing those two sides of the title. And so the film kind of follows this family, the Dashwoods, as they navigate hardships and societal norms and romance and expectations in the 19th century after their father passes, and they kind of go down in society and move to the countryside and kind of have to reshape their life and manage these difficulties together. So again, as mentioned in the title, we're following these two sisters, Eleanor Dashwood, who kind of represents the picture of sense and maturity, and she is characterized by kind of restraint and practical consideration, but she kind of initially leads a life of restraint, but she comes into a fulfilling kind of end of the story and character growth. And then we see Marianne Dashwood representing the sensibility, the more emotional and captivating. She's really fun and just very lively to watch as Kate Winslet plays her, and Emma Thompson plays Eleanor Dashwood. But we see these two sisters just grow into their characters over the time of the novel, with contrasting experiences and personal growth. Eleanor learns to kind of just live a little more and have more kind of bursting of emotions, whereas Marianne kind of learns to check her emotions, and as she goes through a great deal of heartbreak. But we see these sisters approach life together and just learn so many lessons together, and connect and disconnect on different areas as the film continues and to play out. But the film does such a great job of capturing Austen's powerful voice and romantic and compelling storytelling, and this is just one of the film adapted novels, her film adapted novels that that Ang Lee and Emma Thompson do so well at bringing to the screen, and along with the cast, that we can still identify and connect with their human behaviors, and yeah. All right, so for the cast, you might see a few Harry Potter characters, but I didn't realize how many there were, but this is not Harry Potter. So we have just an incredible, talented British cast, and many that just brought so much richness and greatness to the film. And so we have Kate Winslet and Emma Thompson, as I mentioned, in the leading female roles. We have Alan Rickman and Hugh Grant as kind of the love interest, as well as Greg Wise. We have some kind of British comedians. We have Hugh Laurie and Robert Hardy, Imelda Staunton and Tom Wilkinson, Harriet Walter, and so many other noteworthy actors that I don't have up on the screen, but just an incredible cast. So another thing that was really important to the production team was just keeping it as authentic as much as they could to the locations that are in Jane Austen's novel, and they did this by filming at locations that take place in the novel, and this just really made it even more realistic and just incredible visuals, and just the landscapes, and especially another thing that was important was the usage of certain homes, and these specific like cottages or manors were helpful to express kind of the different levels of status as the family kind of moves through the film, either through the countryside or the grand manors, or in London, and it just helps us to the audience to understand kind of the society and those roles and rankings a little bit more in the 19th century. But overall, the location and setting of the film really helped to just create that tone, that Jane Austen kind of tone, and those rolling hills and kind of the seaside shots, and it just is really visually appealing, but also we see kind of the tone change with the film and the characters as they're moving through their story, and as they move into the countryside and eventually grow to adapt towards that lifestyle, and just a lot happier at the end of the film. That is kind of represented also in Jane Austen's happy endings as well. So some filming techniques that they utilized to capture these beautiful landscapes were long shots, and this was meant to capture kind of the characters and the landscapes all together. So not just kind of primarily emphasis on the characters, but this kind of connected the characters to these places that they would be filming them in. And another important piece of this film was kind of getting the tone and the lighting right, and especially to create kind of that warm, lighthearted kind of atmosphere and environment, and just to really capture the color and the natural beauty of some of these places. Another piece was a big portion of the film was these candlelit scenes where they really had to work with the lighting, and also to capture kind of this romantic atmosphere and just soft and warm tones. Okay, so other components of the film were the costume design and the music score, and the costume design did just an amazing job of paying attention to the details of kind of that time period, and the certain status roles in the 19th century, and events and specific costumes for military uniforms, the female actors and male actors, just working with them and bringing together those small but really important details that would sell this film to audiences, and just to reflect kind of Austen's world on screen. And another big mention is the music score, and this was created by Patrick Doyle, who just really draws on the emotion, really wanted to get an emotional response from the audience, and just kind of represent the characters well as connect with kind of the landscape shots that are in the film. So Lee's adaptation of the Austen's novel is so important as it brings her work to a greater audience. This film also kind of set some standards and influenced future Austen adaptations. The film itself also won an Academy Award for Best Writer, and it was nominated for 6 other Academy Awards, including Best Actress and Best Picture. It's definitely a film that has solidified its place in Hollywood, along with just its timeless pieces and just keeping Austen's work alive and relevant and relatable to audiences, and just such an incredible cast, and that really wanted to see it done well, and put in so much work and collaboration to bring this film to the screen. Thank you.